So you may need to clear a little box off your screen if it popped up during starting the recording. And you can see here the setup. You'll get the most out of the class if you take the time to create this setup. One chair, two chair, both with the backs of the chairs facing in, and then this third sitting chair back behind there, and have a seat. And so this whole area is where we do our exploration and our obstacle course. But as always, starting sitting at that front edge of your chair, palms comfortably on your thighs, elbows hanging, shoulders aligned with elbows, that little slight tuck of chin down so the crown goes up. And you're working on Zhongjung, or central upright, central pillar. And then very importantly and uniquely to Taoist practice, the idea of soft, supple, pliable, relaxed, plump, dilated, right? All those words meaning they're encapsulated in the term sung, S-U-N-G, sung, means we want our bodies in a state of sung, loose, soft, and relaxed. When people think of soft, they often think, well, wouldn't that mean my body is weak? But you can think of a weak body, a non-functioning weak body, as more collapse. So areas that are sung are soft, but they have integrity. They have a sort of plump, fluid quality to it, buoyancy and integrity. Whereas collapsed areas are slammed down in upon themselves. So they've lost that integrity, and therefore how could they possibly function? And then they create problems throughout the entire vehicle. So we use some force and effort to create this good alignment, because without that, we can't practice the other aspects. So I'm seeing you, Chris, you're here today, and just keep an eye on yourself that this happens, right? And I think that's not unique to you in the Parkinson's world and just in the human being world. And so if you can make that your number one priority, is notice when you start to just fall into that place and grab a hold and use effort to put the body in alignment. That is important, really, really important. And then you can start playing with soft, relaxed, sung, supple. And if I were in y'all's shoes, what comes to my mind is that 3 to 5 times a day, you take 5 minutes or so to just find a chair, sit upright, train pelvis, spinal column, shoulders, head, and neck, and breathe. Because this is very subtle. It looks like, oh, they're just sitting there. But you're training, again, think about how easy it is to fall out of position or hold with super amounts of tension that's unnecessary. So just the act of sitting correctly and then breathing. Many respiratory muscles double duty as postural muscles. And so only by doing sitting correctly and breathing do we bring that support network truly online. It's not just about hold on to it. So we have to, again, we always start with this practice, and I imagine that people are forgetting to do it regularly in their life. So again, only you can decide to do that. And we'll just take 5 more long, smooth breaths in your own time. You might spend 20 minutes with this. In the nose, out the mouth. From 2-part breathing, inhale, exhale, to 4-part breathing, where you inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Those 4 distinct phases, which we've talked about in previous classes, so I'm not going to go into it here. then to really tune up this postural control, slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, arch the back. This would be on an inhale, chin up, chest up. And go the other way. Slide your hands forward past your knees, hollow your chest, drop your head. And again, very important here, especially for those of you that have your head and neck falling forward, that you go beyond upright, right? You can see that I'm looking up at the ceiling, my head is back. So Chris, as far back as you can take your neck, as far, and you got to pull your elbows back too. And your shoulder blades back too, because you're restricting your own movement there, right? So you should really just hold that shape. Just hold that shape. And rounding forward at some point. But again, when you're really trying to just get a hold of the brain and body, a good use of this position is just hold this shape for 5 breaths. Trying to really break through that habitual slouching. Body. So different applications of these Shenfa, these body mechanism methods. And settle back to neutral, right into your rotation. Left hand forward, right hand and elbow back. Turn shoulders and head to the right. And then switch, turning back center. Switch. And then back to middle. Hang your arms loose by your side. Change the weight to your right buttock and lean. Lift that left wrist, left foot. And then middle, lean. Middle and lean. This is lateral flexion and extension, as well as loosening arms, shoulders. And back to middle, and right into your scapular range of motion. Forward, up, back, down, neutral. Forward, up, back, down, neutral. Continue. Reverse, back, up, forward, down, neutral. Back, up, forward, down. A few more. And neutral. Bend your elbows. Elbows flare out and up. Loosening up all this interior space. Elbows down, around and in. Touch elbows together. Do that twice more. And elbows back, down, forward, up, forward, down, back, Elbows out. One high, one low. Cross and wrap around. Elbows out to the sides. One high, one low. Switching. Wrap. Out. Cross. Out. Cross. Out. Down. Release. Loose. Scoot a little bit back on your chair. Right knee up. Right heel pulled in. Right foot flexed. Push. Draw up. Set the foot down. Other leg. Load. Push. Load. Down. Switching each time. One more each. Each individual mechanism. Making sure it's tuned up a bit. Let's go foot and ankle. Straighten the leg. Point and flex. Tilt the foot in, tilt out. Invert, evert. Circle. Reverse circle. And switch. Point and flex. Tilt in, tilt out. Circle. Reverse circle. And down. Scoot forward on your chair. Step a little wider than hip distance. Lift the balls of your feet off the ground. Now turn on the heels. Knees and toes in. Knees and toes out. Knees and toes in. Out. Internal rotation. External rotation. Internal. External. And neutral. Now the balls of the feet stay where they are. Heels in, knees out. Heels out, knees in. Heels in, knees out. Movement still coming from the hip. Where the leg and the hip meet, known as the quad. Tuning that mechanism. So the pelvis is not moving, the legs are moving. Now, neutral, feet hip distance. Legs don't move, pelvis does. Hip hinge. Sit back upright from that same junction, tip back a little bit. Sit upright, fold forward. Incredibly important junction in the body that gets shut down, whether by collapse, as I was describing earlier, or through over tensing. Because this area is where our center of gravity is organized. It's where we try to find stability, right? Pelvis, belly, and low back. And so that's where it becomes a problem if you're looking to rely on bracing and tension and holding for your stability when we stand up here, then you can't move, right? And so Taoist practice is about realizing, oh, it's this freedom of movement, not sloppy and out of control, but soft, supple, pliable, and mobile that gives us both equilibrium and mobility and function, right? So that's what you see as we get older is that starts to go away. And Taoist practice said, well, how long can we upkeep it? And that's what all this stuff aims at, right? Slide your feet back a little bit. Now we fold from that same junction. Just notice arms are loose. So as you fold, they should hang here. They should not be held back like this. They should be dangling loose. Then you just let the weight come out of the chair, down through the legs to the earth. Push through the earth, stand nice and tall, arms super loose and dangly. Right? They stay dangly and loose as you fold at the hips. You notice I didn't bend my knees first. First thing I did was tip the butt back. Then I fold at the quad, at this hip area. That's where the knees will bend to accommodate. And then back. Let's do that a couple more times. Folding. So a lot of times people have physical therapists or trainers that say, okay, do sit, stand, sit, stand. And that's a great exercise. Or they say, let's do some squats. But the devil's in the details here about what kind of a sit stand are you doing? Are you forcing things and using tension? Or are you finding this soft, supple, pliable hydraulic control? And then let's do some squats where, once again, we use the soft and supple. We fold, sink the butt, sink the butt, sink the butt, dangle the arms, maybe even touch the toes or floor, and then push to the earth and rise tall. Fold. So we add freedom of movement. So now as you come up to standing, go hips forward. And look at this picture here that I've created. It looks like it's frozen. You guys all frozen on your end there? Oh, we're back. Okay, we're back. So come all the way. And at the top, hips forward. So you see how I'm moving from here. My buttocks, my hips are going this way. But these arms are dangling. The back is loose. And then middle. And then fold. And then sink. And then rise. Hips forward. Because again, a lot of times people think this is upright. This is as far as people are willing to go because they're kind of scared. And then you can see if I walk around like this, I've created a whole other exhausting, painful situation. So we got to go here so that you actually feel what it's like to come to effortless middle. Let's do that one more time. Fold and sink. Right. Middle. Now, from the middle, come over to that chair that's on your left side, fingertips on the chair, and as I tip into my toes, notice that I didn't bend at any part of my body. So my body's upright line or zhong stays intact, and it kind of tips at a forward angle. And then when I go hands on chair for safety, but go back to your heels, notice I'm not tipping back that way. It's really almost a little bit of a C curve where your upper body stays a little forward. I'm exaggerating here, but now I'm in my heels and I'm rounding a little. And then come forward, and then middle, and then back. And use your chair for safety so that you challenge your edge. We want to be at the edge of disaster a little bit, but in a way that's safe. So you want to start to find, okay, can I relax when I'm about to sort of, whoa, be at my edge? You want to find that ability to soften, create that response option. Now, find the middle. Go forward. Hands on chairs. Now we go heels, way up, down, rock back to your heels, and pull the balls of the feet up, down, and then forward, and lift, down, and then rock back and lift, down. So Chris, I'm hoping you have your hand on something so that you can be challenging yourself to really go for those full lifts, right? So you got your hands on a chair or something like that, so you can really go for it and break through sort of stuck part of the mechanisms down there. And, and then from here, heels of hands on your chair, walk your feet back. Now we want to find, again, at that same quad, the same mechanism, hip hinge. So you might stop here, you might stop here. Maybe you get to where you've got that L shape, that 90 degree, that downward dog shape. And then chest up and hips come forward out of the position, and then we do it again. Fold. And then let's do 3 of them in dynamic flow. So inhale, chest up, hips forward. Exhale, push hips back. Inhale, chest up, hips forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chest up, hips forward. One more. Fold. And then let's go chest up, hips forward. Walk your feet to the chair. Stand vertical, so you're under your own power again. Turn and face forward. Turn your right foot, so you should be near. If you're mirroring me, like I try to have you guys do in doing this class, right hand will be on the chair. Right foot turned out a little bit. Let me just change my angle so you can see that I then put this foot in front and this hand on the top of the thigh. Now, from the quad, from the hips, hinge back and fold. So this knee should have a little bend in it, and you slide your left hand down, maybe to the knee, maybe to the shin. Eventually, if you fold from the hips enough, you can even let your spine round and the head drop, and then come all the way back up. So ideally, empty leg, full leg, hand on chair, or if balance is with you, you can place this hand on this bent knee like a little shelf and fold and sink. So this just helps us get good at keeping our balance, feeling that groundedness through the single leg, and then this freedom of movement. As I like to call it, shape-shifting, shape-changing. So a healthy human body is not determined so much by the shape that it can hold, but rather how many different shapes can it change into and come out of without being stuck anywhere along the way. One more time. So that's why when we're practicing yoga, tai chi, qigong, we're running into our stuck spots, and then through the practice we are liberating them, polishing them, loosening them. Now, bring your left leg back. We've just stretched it so it should have better flow. Now place it on the ground, put all your weight into that leg with a little soft quality, hand on the chair, put your right toes behind you and tip a little bit forward. So you see now I'm at an angle, but I still got zhong-zheng. I've still got my pillar through my body, my through line. And then at your own discretion, tip. So we've got belly and qua as the middle. And so just notice that remains the middle, folded and vertical. So just tip, 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 tip. The leg has to rise as the torso dangles down or tips over. You can even use this and let this arm hang and act like, oh, I'm going to go pick up a sock off the ground here. Fold and pick it up, come back. And then on this last one, we're going to hold the shape. So whatever position you can sustain, and ideally do it a little bit less than your maximum, so then you can challenge yourself by going lighter on your fingertips, or even someday flying. Right? And you know your chair's there, so you can come back to it when you need to. Lift, return, right, and fly, and then let's come all the way back to vertical. Now we're going to change sides and do that on the other side. Come over to your left side chair. Left hand on the chair. Turn left foot out a little bit. Right heel in front. Right hand on right thigh. And then again, it's from this same, we're training this middle mechanism. Just keep that as your main idea, that what am I doing in all these different shapes and directions of movement. You're training your middle cockpit, your middle pivot, to understand how to keep equilibrium in relationship to the floor and gravity and your body while retaining function. Hand on this thigh, balance permits, so you can really practice feeling free in space and going, oh, let me fold over and go. Come back up. Now, this leg having been loosened and cleared, we put the weight into that leg, put the other foot behind, tip forward a little bit, hand on chair, and tip. And come back. Every time, make sure you come back to vertical. Ideally with no body weight in this leg. So the weight stays down through just this leg the whole time. So you're really feeling the idea that, okay, internally there's equilibrium. This sort of floating equilibrium in outer space. But then there's also, I have to address, gravity is a real thing. So this leg is helping me take care of, oh yeah, am I grounded? Because if I'm not grounded, I'll fall, and then I'll be grounded. Now on this last one, go to the variation that you can actually hold for a little bit. Option to go light on your fingertips or free and free and And Renee, just pop up and look at me here. So when I go down, notice at no point am I doing this. So you are dropping and rounding your head versus look at how when I tip, I'm keeping the integrity of my back and my head and my neck. So I'm not losing that integrity, right, as I fly in that position. And then come back up. Okay, switch sides again. Now, free, excuse me, free hands. First exercise from this middle pivot and these quad. Change the weight more to your right leg. Let the weight go down through the right leg. See how I have a little bend in it? And that should allow this foot to be free, and not just foot, but all the way up into the hip. Right? And then change. So now all the weight goes through this leg, and this leg has no restriction, no tension. It's free. Empty. Change. So this is your secret Tai Chi that you do when you're standing in line somewhere, or instead of sitting on your couch and watching TV, you maybe stand up and just do this simple deal. Especially important when standing at a stoplight and you know that at some moment, or you're in line somewhere, at some moment you need to move forward. You don't want to get stuck, locked like this, and then try to figure out how to move. So you're here because now you're always ready to step forward, backwards, sideways, wherever, because you have one foot free. And then when that one gets tired, you change. And now this is working, and this is on vacation. Next challenge, hand on chair as needed for tippy toe, down, shift. Tippy toe, down, shift. Level 1 of this is lift and lower, shift, and then lift and lower. The level 2 of this is as I'm changing weight, I'm lifting. As I'm putting the heel down, I'm letting the weight go down, and I'm lifting. But eventually it's just boom. It's a single event of change. Change. So that's how you can, in this exercise, start working on, there's even a jogging variation. Right? You see how I'm doing this. Middle pivot, quad, balance, but yet I'm working on, and you notice how I'm doing it is with down, 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 not side, side, side. It's down, down. Now, hand on chair, as you get to the tippy toe, disconnect, place the foot down, change. tippy toe, disconnect, down, change. So the first variation is we pull apart all the events. The tippy toe, the lift, the lower, the shift, tippy toe, lift. So we pull them apart and identify them, and then you start to blend them. Hopefully you can see the way I'm able to do it is because I'm able to let this leg become, I'm not locking it, because if I do that, then I uproot myself. There I'm grounded, 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 grounded. So now we're running in place. You could have your hand on your chair while you do it, but you're freeing up the mechanism. And then lastly, let's go hand on chair, and we're going to do 3 in a row on one leg here, where it's all the way up, all the way down. Same leg, up, down, up, down. Switch. Same leg. Try to get it all the way folded up and all the way down, but ideally when you bring it up, it has no tension. The foot is loose, the knee is loose, the hip is loose right here. So when I bring it up, loose. You see how loose my leg is? Free. Because usually we pull it up and we clench every single muscle instead of loosen every single muscle. Right? So then that freedom of movement is available. Now, switching. Change and lift. Down. Change and lift. Down. So getting good at the skill in Tai Chi is yielding, unclenching, softening, releasing, right? It's a different skill than how we normally think of operating our vehicle. But hopefully you're starting to get the idea that is a real, it's not just a philosophical idea, it's very practical. Okay, now step a little bit back from your chair, put all your weight in your left leg or the leg away from there, from the chair, and then put your right foot in front, heel touching empty. Now the primary direction, down, down, primary direction, down. And the word that's really important here is commit. So I'm not going down in my leg and pushing down in some way. I'm committing my middle, my body, down to the earth through that leg, and then committing it through this leg. If I commit that, the body moves forward. The body moves backwards, just naturally. So you're just floating. You're just easy. You want to get comfortable letting go. And at first, that feels less stable, but the more you release and release, the more you come to rely on this weightedness underneath. Now, level 2, hand on chair, lift, lower, shift. Get to the very tip of the toe, bend the knee, toe down, and shift. Wait until it's actually empty, then float, float, shift. Wait until it's actually full empty change, and then lift, float. And then you can start to get those to happen simultaneously, where it's as I'm dropping the weight down, I'm picking up the back foot. As the weight's going down, I'm picking up the front leg. That's a really good test. You start to think, oh, I've got this now. Then you go, okay, can I do it with a bit of swiftness or suddenness? And it'll show you where you're sending yourself off in the wrong direction. Now, hand on chair, lift, lower, shift. And now this back leg, forward and up, toe reach back, shift. So the weight going down allows the safe lift and lower. Then the weight going down as the body moves forward. Back. Hand on chair as needed, so you can start to work on that swiftness of as I'm going down, I'm lifting, reaching back as I'm going down. And switch sides. Level 1. Put all the weight into your right leg, left foot empty, step it. It's empty all the way up into the hip. Change. Be empty in the back foot. Change. Tip of the heel. And really importantly, tip of the toe, because a lot of times people end here where they're still on the balls of the toes. Get to the very tip of the shoe. It forces you to find full empty discernment. Tip of heel, tip of toe. Level 2. Weight staying down underneath. Lift this empty leg. Lower it. Shift. Weight staying down underneath. Bend of knee. Toe down. Shift. Weight staying down underneath. Lift and lower. And then you can, if you start to feel very comfortable with it, as the weight's going down, you're lifting. As you're committing, you're lifting. As you're committing, you're lifting. So it forces us to find down. Only way to do this is to really down. Now, weight staying down, lift, lower, heel touching, shift, and then this back leg forward and up, toe behind. Weight staying down, lift, lower, shift, shift. One more. Switch sides. Weight in your left leg, right foot in front, heel touching. Commit to that front leg, back foot, step back and forth a couple of times. Just feel that freedom, that ease of movement where you've committed to this leg so this foot's free. Then put that foot in front and commit. Now let's do a walk forward, walk backward, step and shift. So there's full empty, change full empty, change again full empty, and then backwards, change full empty, step, change full empty again. So it's change, step, change. Training this middle pivot, change, step, change. To not feel stuck in both legs, it's called being double weighted, but your middle pivot is this transforming zone, this alchemical transformation pivot that can easily transfer full to empty, empty back to full. Now, challenge further. Lift, lower, shift. Now, step over the top forward and over the top back a few times. Just repeating this mechanism. And then let's flow. Shift. Add the little flamingo challenge. Shift, up, tuck, reach, and shift. Lift, lower, shift, step over. Shift, flamingo. Middle pivot gives you the equilibrium you're looking for, the stability you're looking for. Comes from soft, loose, but organized. Fluid usage of the body. One more. So the hips. You start to feel how it's up in the quad where the magic happens. That, oh, this quad has to be free for this mechanism. And then I gotta use this quad to make this full so that this leg's free. Let's go level 3. Lift, lower, shift, and then it's heel, knee, foot, repeat that back and forth a couple of times, clearing the bramble and residue. And flow. Shift. Forward and up. Shift. And then up, tuck, reach. Shift. All the way up. So quad, belly, low back. This functional middle mechanism around which all the other parts can move, right? That's Tai Chi. Switch sides. Here, level 1. All the weight's in your right leg, left foot in front. Now we shift. Repeat this. 1, back. 2, back. And these are all moments of truth. These are all diagnostics showing you whether you're actually empty and full. Now we flow. Shift. Then back, step, back. Empty, full, step the empty, empty, full. Middle equilibrium, floating. Level 2, hand on chair to allow you to safely lift, lower, shift. Now repeat just this part where you step over something in front, over something in back, over in front without any weight in the leg, back, front, back, and flowing. We go front, flamingo, shift, and then it's the up, tuck, reach, back. Straight leg lift. Change, step over, change. Flamingo. So it's easy to say something like primary direction is down, and your brain can go, okay, got it, I understand. But how do you actually make that your reality? These are the exercises. Now, level 3, lift, lower, shift. Now, repeat this mechanism a few times. The full range. Quad, belly, low back, central pillar. Now flowing forward, lift, back, reverse, and back. The weight down underneath allows a safe, loose lift. Weight down underneath allows this. Weight down underneath. Down underneath. One more. Put that into practice. Come to the far left side of your space, turn and face down your runway. Level 1, where we fill one leg. The most important thing here is this idea that when it's time to take a step, what is the first thing that you do? Most people think you pick up the leg and you step it. But hopefully you're understanding the answer to that is you fill one leg and empty the other. That has to happen first so that the step is correct, safe, and keeps all the rules. And then you're ready to go, okay, change, and now I've only earned the right to step again if I've committed to one leg and emptied the other. Then I can step the other one, and then I gotta earn the right to step that other foot by committing and stepping, committing, 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 committing. Then we go back. step, shift. So you make sure to empty the foot, step it while it's still empty. Then you shift. And the important discernment is that the body doesn't move forward when I'm taking the step. It moves forward when I'm committing to that leg. So I'm stepping this foot and there's no movement forward, but when I commit to the leg, the body is moved forward. I step, there's no movement. I commit, there's movement. I step, there's no movement. I commit, there's movement. Eventually that blends into itself like a wheel rolling us forward, but you have to discern between, because quite a few people, when they step this leg, they move back with the leg because they're stuck to the leg. Versus the leg is free, I've stepped it back with no weight, and then I'm transferring my weight down to the earth through the leg. Now I'm stepping and there's no traveling. Then, and this keeps you safe in case, let's say I'm moving my foot and I bump into a chair or I bump into a corner of a wall, I haven't committed myself to that step yet. So I can bang into something with the foot and go, oh, make an adjustment, and then I can commit. Now, you just walked across the room in, let's say, 5 or 6 steps. Can you make it 3 or 4 steps? So how do you do that? You don't speed up. In fact, you just elongate the stride. So you just take bigger strides, and that's how you can, quote unquote, speed up over time without, as soon as you make any tension in your body, just understand that you've just pulled yourself up out of being grounded and you've made yourself more precarious and more in danger of falling. So as soon as you tighten something to hurry up, you've just put yourself into all kinds of risk. So how do I stay loose and then speed up? Well, I just go bigger stride, bigger stride, bigger stride. But I'm still loose as butter, just loose as can be. And you just covered a bunch of ground fast. You've gotten across the room to that tea kettle or gotten to the bathroom in time or whatever it is, got across the street. But you didn't get up and hurry up and put yourself in all kinds of risk. So let's just do that a couple more times, just as long a stride as you can. So you're feeling how you're able to stay totally relaxed, and yet you just moved in a short period of time a good distance. One more. Hopefully that's making sense, because these things, even though they're easy for me to say, they're quite something else to put into practice to actually learn how to do. Side walking. Put all your weight in your left leg. We go right foot out and in, out and in. This helps us buy this interior real estate. This exercise of here's my quad, here's my belly, and I'm not stuck to my leg, stuck to my leg. It's separating, coming back in, opening, closing. Now open, change underground. The weight here, keep this heel on the ground so that this quad has to open and this leg has to elongate. And then change back. This leg, like an accordion or a spring, this one elongating. Change. And feel how it can be happening underground. So you're grounded the whole time. You're not up here, you're underneath. And you're grounded, but it's just changing. Oh, now I'm using this leg to ground. Now bring the left foot in and out. So again, you're testing how empty, how open and closed, how able are you to open and close here. And then lastly, bring that foot in, keep it in, and we change to the left leg. Change to the right leg. Change to the left leg. This one's subtle. Notice again that my zhongjung is intact. I'm not leaning and leaning. So something's got to give. Something has to change. And that's this groin, inguinal crease, low back, and the leg itself being able to be like a spring. Now the weight through the left leg, side step out. Weight down through the right leg, side step in. Down, step out. Down, step in. change, 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 change. Other way, step out, change, step in, change, step out, change, step, change. Now, let's put that together with the bear washing its paws. So with feet separated, shift to your left leg, turn, brush, sweep, and then shift to your right leg, turn, brush, sweep. So it's the exact same leg exercise we were just doing, everything happening underground, but we're adding this control, how this middle pivot controls not only below the waist, but also up here. Bear washing paws. Now walking. So brush, sweep, left foot empty, step it in. Change the weight to the left leg while it's close. Turn, brush, sweep, right leg empty, step out. Turn, brush, sweep, step in. Turn, brush, sweep, step out. Turn, brush, sweep, step in. So can you create all this change, all this yinning and yanging, this left and right, up and down, empty and full, turning and turning the other way? And can you do all of that and experience the stillness inside of it? So the softer and looser and more hydraulic you become, that's what pervades, that's what permeates, is this quality of floating stillness while you're moving, while you're executing all the changes that there are to execute. Let's go for the bear, swats the jumping fish. So now it's one hand low, one hand at chest height, bring the left foot in, then they have to change. So now your brain is having to coordinate more variables. And at first it's confusing, but then over time you go, oh yeah, they're all communicating to each other through this middle. So you're geolocating your middle, and you're training how to operate your vehicle from there. The emphasis on slowness in the practice is because it's revealing to move slow. The faster we move, the more we skip over where we're disconnected and discombobulated. But if we go too slow, then we're stagnating, right? If I'm just slow, 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 that's not it either. I'm now seizing up my engine. So there's this perfect pace that you can find where it's slow enough for your brain to track the data. You're tracking. Did one hand move faster than the other? Did I get out of control? Did I clumsily step, or was I able to float the foot? And then we'll finish with the bear plays with clouds. So now your right hand is high, cloud, lake, stepping in. The hands change. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. They change as you step. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Step, they change. Shift and turn, cloud, lake. Hands change, step. Renee, remember that it's one hand high, one hand low all the way across. So this one doesn't start coming up prematurely. And then it's when they're at their end, they change. All right, let's go back the other way. So it's high and low. then they change as the foot comes in. Because a lot of times people do this one and this hand starts coming up prematurely. So really sweep that leg at the bottom. And then they change. There's reasons for that. One of which is if I just bring this up, I didn't actually challenge all the tissue the same way that when I stay low, I'm pulling on all these areas through the back, through the torso, through the hips. So all the way to the ends of the fingers. Because our body's basically compacted a bit. It's stuck on itself. So we're trying to use these movements to go pull us apart. Open up these spaces and these mechanisms. And then settle. And we close with this movement called Sink Chi Wash Organs, where you open, lift, tip into your toes, sweep the hands around, closing, rock back, bring the hands as if bringing something in the mouth, through down the throat to the belly, and then remembering your squat, buttocks back, sink the buttocks, sweep the arm, or release the arms to dangle down. And then push through the earth and stand up. And it's like we've just sloughed off some layer of what's there that's not needed. We do it twice more. A little tip to your heels, open and lift. A little tip to your toes, sweep around and close. Tip to your heels, bringing back in. Settle to the middle of your feet, hands settle to the belly. Hip hinge through. One. And then we close, wing, roll, fold, settle down to your navel, seal the practice. 1, 2, and then little hand position. Thank you, everybody. Great job. Any questions, thoughts at all? Feel free to share.